fans, welcome in another edition of In the Dirt. What a wild, crazy weekend it was at Green Valley Speedway, home to the Bama Bash. And without further ado, oh yeah,
I'm not pulling any punches tonight.
If you would, first of all, let's get to the karaoke part. I didn't think it was that bad for just deciding to do it just then.
You were attempting. See, if you would have just committed, it'd be a different story. But you didn't.
Oh no, I didn't commit.
Yeah, see, you fail.
I should have committed.
If you commit, it doesn't matter if it's bad or not. Just as long as you put the effort in there to try to make it good.
Oh, I was just for a lack of a better word, I was just dicking around, as they say.
Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, we're not. The FCC they can't touch us. We're like MC Hammer right now.
Did you get that crap figured out with those guys down there in Australia?
Listen, Steve Hellier is a good dude. He is the owner and CEO of TorqueRadio.com, and we just did this thing where we downloaded a program, and I watched him bring Windows up on my computer, and I thought, this dude's probably going to be getting like credit card numbers and buying TVs. But no, we're this close, and I know this is not TV and you can't see how far apart my fingers are, but it's real close. Real close. We're almost there.
I know you were telling me it's going to sound a whole lot better. And
we were doing some tests right up until, literally 2 minutes before the show started. And it's just amazing the difference. And sorry, Blog Talk, but you suck.
They've carried us. They've carried us this far.
Yeah, but
what do we got lined up for tonight, dude? I haven't heard from you. Like you've been working all in the back room or something.
Listen, I've got so much on my plate. This next 10 to 12 days, I had the Bama Bash all weekend. Then I got stuff to get done around here. Then I take off for the Pelican 100 at Arklatex Speedway there, damn near to Texas. I got to drive, but hey, that's what we do. That's what we sign on for, I guess. Tonight we're gonna have the guys from Flag to Flag come on. We got Chris Steele. He's a crate driver. He's out of York, South Carolina. We are gonna have Bud Watson, open wheel modified driver out of your neck of the woods up in Ohio. Jason Walls, he's the owner of Insane Racing Graphics. He's also a crate driver. And then Michael Brown, he's a crate late model driver. We're keeping with this constant theme of crates because we know how much you love the crate car.
Hold on, I got something to say about the crates.
Well,
and if this doesn't justify what I have.
Well, let me just finish introducing Michael Brown. He sat on the pole at the crate race at Screven during the winter freeze. Now, you may proceed.
Okay. So I get my new copy of Dirt Late Model Magazine. I got it today. And keep in mind that usually when I get it, half of the cover is torn off, but this time it was a perfect edition. Okay? It's got Josh Richards on the front of it and, the Ernie D's deal, but there's 225 cars. They look exactly the same, except, I won't get into the details. If you got Dirt Late Model Magazine, you know what I'm talking about. So I open it up, and the very first page, when I get in there, there's a picture of this black car, and it says Hollywood across the roof. And it's a car that runs in the Super Series, and it's got these big old ugly side sail panels on it. And I guess that's super legal, and Super's not even a super late model series, is it?
Is that the SUPR series?
Yeah, SUPR.
Yeah, that's the one that Morgan Bagley won the championship last year, isn't it?
Yeah, but did he have that big-ass ugly sail panel on the side of the spoiler like that? Is that like one of their trademarks, too? It's like these guys are taking crate racing, and they want to see who can do the most outrageous, ugly crap to their car.
Now, Brian, I ask that you open your mind a little bit and hear me out.
From a marketing standpoint, you're going to look at that big, ugly sail panel and see somebody's name on the side of it. And that's good because I know we're all into the marketing thing.
That's a very good point.
Come on, guys.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point, but that wasn't the point I was going to make.
All right, I'm letting you have the floor.
Okay, this down here in Alabama way, they have the sportsman car or the limited, whatever you want to call it, and they look just like a crate car, look just like a late model. Well, now I don't know if it's innovative here or if everybody's doing it around the country, but they've taken the roofs off these things and put those side boards on just on the inside of the left above the left fender, quarter panel, I guess. And to me, it's a neat deal because it gives that class its identity, and there's no mistaking of what it is.
No, and dude, look, it didn't work when NASCAR changed their spoiler, okay?
True.
There's certain subtleties that people want to see. They want to see a car that looks racy. They don't want to see something that looks like a derby car from the East End of England.
Have you ever been to the East End of England?
No, but I've seen races from there.
Oh goodness! I just think that that our sport, yes, there is class.
If they want to do it, you know what? Like those guys down under that have those super sedans, do something like that. At least they got cool looking bodies on them.
Well, so you're not impressed over the weekend? Ronnie Johnson runs second, third, and fourth against big motors at the Bama Bash with his little 525 motor.
Yeah,
they don't.
But see, he had an advantage.
Oh, he did. The advantage.
He had the 525, but see, he had something on his car that a lot of those other guys didn't have.
The big spoiler.
Nope.
What else?
He had the XD4 front end on it.
Oh, well, there you go.
See? These guys think I'm full of crap. Ask Ronnie how much harder he runs in the corner.
So, what my question was about Mr. Johnson, was it were you upset that he ran so well with the smaller motor, big wing against the open motor guys?
Well, he ran good because he had our product on his car, but he had that ugly spoiler on it.
Well, all right, let's welcome to the program Mr. Jason Atkins. Mr. Atkins, how are you, sir?
Doing well, Webb. Hope you guys are doing well down your way, and hello to Kyle and the rest of the gang.
Kyle is MIA for the second
week.
Yeah,
Kyle's bummed out.
Wow.
You know how he finished, right?
Yeah, he didn't finish well.
I did notice those results. I did notice those, but I figured he would be a trooper and join us on the show.
He's probably at the shop working to be better. I'll make that excuse for him. But no, right before Kyle went out, they were waiting. They were finishing up the late model ceremonies on the front stretch, and Todd Turner and myself were making our way through the infield to the back pit gate, and near there was where Kyle was parked ready to go out, and I snuck up beside him and screamed like an idiot into the cockpit. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't think he did, but I thought it was.
Hey, that may have given Race Saver Communications a whole new meaning.
I wonder why Mr. Carlton was giving me a dirty look when I went back upstairs. Well, Jason, how's things going over there on the eastern seaboard of the racing community?
We're hanging in there pretty good. The racing really got started here this past weekend, and I did not get to go, and I hated it for our customers. We had some customers racing down at Gaffney at the March Madness event, and of course I had to apologize to all those guys. I wanted to get out and try to support them, but we have been fortunate to be busy here with Flag to Flag, and I actually had a previous engagement yesterday to a test session with one of our customers, so actually two of our customers, so to go spend some time with them. But things are starting to pick up here. March Madness, of course, this past weekend, and there's various events going on, around picking up here on the East Coast. But this weekend, probably the biggest one in the Carolinas would be the 12th annual Skylar Troll Memorial there at Carolina Speedway, and it will feature super late models, pro crate late models, and open wheel modifieds. So look forward to that event. The Troll family has always been supportive of racing, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think that family, if I understand correctly, suffered another loss here in recent days or recent past days. So on behalf of Flag to Flag and all of our customers and supporters, we extend our condolences to their family.
And the same goes from us here in the dirt. And not to sound cold or callous, but moving on, you guys have been making a lot of headway there with Flag to Flag. I noticed just about everybody keeps up on Facebook, and I see Flag to Flag does a lot of their social media and puts their updates on there. You guys have increased your clientele a little bit over the last few weeks, haven't you?
We have. Well, we've been very blessed and very fortunate to increase our clientele. We knew when we started back in November, and that's what I was having a business lunch today with the manager of Velocita Race Suits, and we were just discussing that we're still just barely, if not 100 days old, so we've not even, really, I guess, broke the ice, with our mission and our company, but we've been very blessed. I think the Daytona, the Speed Weeks, the East Bays, the Volusias, that really, instigated or kind of perked interest in our program over the last few weeks. So that has definitely been a driver for at least exposure to our products and services. And while we're still growing and still have many changes that we need to adapt to and make, and as we grow, we're very blessed to have picked up some clientele to this point, and we're thankful for each and every one of them, and been fortunate here in the past couple of weeks to even break out in different divisions, and that was a goal of mine. My background is heavy in dirt late model, but to break into open wheel modifieds and even into the go-kart world, that's one of our first guests. His son's joined us on the from a go-kart aspect, and we're getting ready to break into asphalt. So we feel it's very important to diversify, but we're very thankful for the dirt late model background to at least give us a path or a blueprint to try to go to market with. And again, we still have many changes and things and improvements and future announcements that we look forward to making, but we want to make those at the right time and grow accordingly.
Well, all right. Now, we've got Chris Steele's fixing to call in, and I guess what we'll do is we'll go to a break and wait for his phone call.
Sounds good.
All right. We'll be right back, guys. Welcome back in, race fans, to In the Dirt. Already March the 5th. And I called that without even looking at a calendar.
Dude, I'm looking at the calendar.
Is it March 5th?
Yeah. You're
I'm
right
psychic.
on, dude.
I'm psychic.
It's like, actually, I think there's racing this weekend up here.
It seems like that we probably could have scheduled a whole other season through the lack of winter the country's had.
Yeah, there's been quite a few weekends we could have had some races around here without a problem at all.
Yeah. All right, let's bring back to the program Jason. I believe we got Mr. Steele on the phone. Chris, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you. Mr. Steele was my dad, so you just call me Chris.
Well, Chris, I'm ex-military, and my dad used the belt, so it's just ingrained in me.
My dad wasn't in the military, and he still used the belt.
Yeah. I tell people
I didn't get that lucky.
Oh, my dad had tennis elbow and never picked up a tennis racket.
Yeah, I know. My mama used to with me with the one of them fly swatters at the metal.
Dang it, man.
You were one of those that got whatever was laying close that was going to put a hurting on you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Extension cord, that's the worst one.
Well, Mr. Steele, Jason has told us that you're a crate late model pilot out of York, South Carolina. Give us a little insight as to how long you've been racing and what your program what's your program doing these days.
As far as how long I've been racing, my those days started back in probably about 1985, racing go-karts in a baseball field, an abandoned baseball field, and then it just evolved and turned into race cars in 1988, and it's been a great ride. I've never imagined I would race this long, and and have success and get to travel. It's been great, and our 2012 season, we're probably going to stay a little closer to home because, as Jason may have told you, my oldest child, or our oldest child, is 10 years old, and we're racing go-karts now. We just came back from cleaning that stuff up. So the 2012 season is probably going to see Chris racing a little more local, but I do want to venture off into, I've got to make the trip to West Speedway, up in Westfield, and we want to try to make the trip to Eldora. That's a excellent, fun trip to make. But
hey, Chris, let me tell you something. Is it weird that I have a small jar here in the in-home studio that has, I've never been to Eldora, but I've got a small jar that has a little bit of dirt from Eldora in it. Is that weird?
No, that's not weird. I've got a little small one. I've got a small one in the house from WIA. Then I got one in the truck right here, but it ain't from a racetrack.
I got you. The story behind my little jar is when I worked for Old Man's Garage, one of my buddies, Mr. Jeff Cofield Racing Starters, was on. He had a product or had some stuff that he'd worked on Carl Edwards' Prelude car. And the Prelude car is owned by Stacy Holmes here, Coldwater, Alabama, and I know all his crew pretty well, a bunch of friends of mine. And they give me to give to the Cofield, get the Aflac quarter panel that he put into the wall there at Eldora. Well, as I was bringing it home, I realized there was dirt on the back of it, and I go, "Oh my gosh, that's Eldora dirt!" So I scraped it off into a baby jar.
That's a keepsake.
Yeah, so maybe I'll get some more. Now, Brian Gray's with us. He's a late model driver out of Cincinnati, Ohio, Hamilton area, and man, he'll tell you he don't like crate cars. He don't like cars that don't do anything.
It's Hamiltucky, Webb.
Hamiltucky. I'm gonna get that.
Hamiltucky.
Hamiltucky. But
I don't have nothing against crate cars, so to speak. What I got problems with is 15 different classes of late models. There's just too many late models, and some of these guys want to make everything different, and they just make it uglier than hell.
Yeah,
I want to look at something. I want to look at a car that looks. It's got to at least look cool. And when you look at here, let's take for instance any given car that shows up at a Lucas race. I mean, the bodies just look. They're different than some of the guys you see at some of the local tracks. They're sharp. They look like hot rods. Why would you want to ruin that?
Yeah, I can agree with you. You know, I mean, in my opinion, there's three classes of late model. There's super, there's limited, and there's traits. You know, anything other than that, to me, should have a stock, somewhat stock-looking body on it. You should be able to, you know, look at a car and say, hey, this is a Monte Carlo versus Camaro, you know, or don't look at it and say, hey, it's a late model with 8-inch tires on it. But, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's just, it seems like we've got too many classes with everything spread out, you know, because of this rule and that rule and whatever. And what it all boils down to is that guys don't think that they can compete. And I understand that a place like Eldora or whatever, it's going to be tricky to have. It takes a lot of time and dedication to do all the stuff that needs to be done to the body, to have the money to build a big engine that makes a bunch of horsepower. You got to have the tires and this and that. But I'd say 80% of the racetracks around the country are going to be quarter-mile bull rings. Most of them anymore tend to be black, slick, and dusty. And you don't need, 800 horsepower. The body can be beat up a little bit. And tires will make a difference, but some of the rules and some of the stuff guys do to tires. I mean, heck, you don't need all those different classes of cars, because I've seen crate engines, and I'm talking about 604 crate motors go to quarter-mile bull rings and run with real fast open cars, if not beat them.
Chris, the point me bringing up the conversation, and of course turning Brian loose. Where would your
everybody complains about car counts, Webb,
I understand, but
because they spread it up into, they got 6 different classes of cars, and you don't have enough to go around. You know what I mean? There's a limited pool there. I'm looking for modifieds.
Chris, where would your program be without the invention of the crate car?
I'd be racing hobby stock, street stock, something a lower division.
So
I've got access to fairly newer model chassis, and I have friends in the shop world and everywhere. But engines, I can't buy a $40,000 engine or a $30,000 engine. And since 2005, our team has been one of the ones that's made the 602 crate engine. I'm not going to say famous by any means, but you can look on a number of websites and talk about a 602, and 9 times out of 10, our car will pop up in that conversation. A $3,000 engine versus a $30,000 engine.
What is your interest level in the 525 series that Neesmith may put out?
I think that's for guys that's got the financial backing to move into the supers. I think that's great because that's giving those guys more power, and it changes it up a little bit for them as far as driving style. But just like anything else, I mean, anytime you get into a spec, so to speak, a spec engine, you're going to have cheating, whether it's sealed with a crate bolt or it's even I don't care if an organization says, okay, we'll issue the engines. There's still going to be cheating in it, but to answer your question, the 525 deal I think is pretty good as a further stepping stone into supers.
And I think, I mean, if you look at it, let's look at asphalt racing right now. Not everybody can go run NASCAR or Busch or Busch. I'm a little older than most people think, probably.
I'm right there with you.
But the nationwide, and that's a class of their own. That's a league of their own. And I foresee
and Webb, that's a misconception.
Well, it's not really a misconception because it takes money to get there.
And I'll tell you why.
But if we're talking grassroots, Brian, grassroots racing, Friday night racing.
On the grassroots level, I think what we lack is people with the desire. People want to be able to go out and buy their way into something. Whether you all know it or not, I'm sure that most people know. You know that anything in NASCAR, even in ARCA now, it's all pay to play. Do you get that?
Yes, of course. Yeah, of course.
When I say pay to play, I don't mean just because a guy has the most money. I mean because there are teams that put cars together, and you go to that team just like you walk into Walmart to buy a T-shirt or something. You walk to those teams and lay down the money for them to supply the car. That's the way it works. It has nothing to do with your driving ability. It has nothing to do with anything except for you're willing to pay somebody $50,000 to $80,000 for them to place a car for you.
Okay. And that might be, but here's what I was getting at. It's the Bloomquist, the Moyers.
To build that car, and I've been there, Webb. I've done it. I've had the cars, and I came up with the whole deal. And it's just a big mess. And I just think that we need to cut some of these damn classes. There's too many classes, and it's spreading our talent pool too thin.
I'm going to welcome to the program right now. Don't go nowhere, Chris. Mr. Bud Watson, you with us?
Yes, sir.
Are you the same Bud? Are you the same Bud Watson that was piloting the 100 car with the OMG on the side of it?
Yes, I was.
I thought it might be. How are you, sir?
Not too bad. How are you doing tonight?
I'm recovering from a weekend at Green Valley Speedway and my dirt on dirt duties. I'm a tired puppy. I can count about all the sleep I've had this weekend on my two hands here, and that's not a lot of hours.
No,
so,
not at all.
I know you took part in the Fast Track Northeast Series, piloting the 100 car that was put together by Mr. John Powell.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
So you're familiar with Miss Vicky, who we had on the show last week.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know Vicky and her co-director Mike real well.
Good folks, good people up there.
Definitely.
You've stumbled in to the crate debate. Seems like more times than not we get on that conversation here at In the Dirt. And first, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then tell us what your take is on the crate car and crate motor compared to other divisions.
And now Bud is a little fella. Don't let him tell you no story.
Little in whose standard there, Chris?
But anyway, go ahead.
No, well, I've been, I've grown up in and around racing over the years. My family all the way back to my grandfather has raced, and, I got into it that way, and started racing crate cars. In 2008 was the first year. I ran at the end of the year a little bit, and, we ran a family-owned deal, and like you said, I drove the 100 car at the end of 2010 and early 2011, and that deal, we just kind of had a difference in opinion, so we went our separate ways, and now we got some sponsors behind us, and we're running a dirt modified up here in the north.
So the debate we've got into this evening is I believe that there's a need for the crate car to keep people on the track. My co-host Brian Gray thinks that people are scared to race.
Webb, I don't mind the crate car. The crate car deal, I don't mind that. What I do mind is we have too many different classes of cars. The supercars with that big side panel on them. You got fast track with this, and Neesmith with I guess the fast track and the Neesmith cars are probably about as close as you can get with the rules. I don't know what their tire deal is, but it just seems like there's all these different classes of cars popping up here and there.
Bud, where would your program be without the crate car?
Well, I definitely never would have gotten the big car, the big car racing without it. The day and age of that my dad grew up in, back when you could build a complete late model or modified or something and go racing and win races with for under $10,000, as we all know, is long gone.
But I gotta stop you right there. But did you not get into say the open class because you thought that without a $40,000 motor you wouldn't be competitive?
Well, in this day and age, without it's not just a motor; it's the whole package.
That's what I'm at. That's what I'm saying. This is just one part of it. Is that it's just a yes or no answer? Is that why? Did you think that you would get beat by somebody else with more horsepower?
Well, on not every night, not every racetrack, but in most situations, the horsepower is definitely going to have an advantage.
Right. At places like Eldora, Knoxville, big wide open tracks, or maybe on nights when the track's completely hammered down.
Oh yeah, for sure. And even
I think horsepower will overrule at places like that, but you can take a smaller track and it's more driver, car setup, car suspension. We've won races with a lot less horsepower.
Right.
Small racetrack.
So we're at that. We agree on that part. Now here's the next question: how many tracks did you race at last year that the racetrack was hammered down and fast like that?
Not a whole hell of a lot of them.
All right.
Once in a while.
This is the point that I'm getting. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And now we're spreading the classes even further apart. It's really not about horsepower. And I don't know how often even you guys have either of you ran one of those 525 cars yet? Have you drove that 525 motor?
I have a modified, but not a late model.
Okay,
I have not drove one.
And how often were you able to really open that dude up?
The 525 motor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, with the modified, it's a little different. We got a lot smaller tire than a late model does, but I'd say, it's in between from
I'd say if you ever opened that dude up, you were just burning the tires off of it.
Well, not necessarily. Once in a while, of course, yeah, but going down a straight line and a straightaway, I mean, you could open it up real well. I mean, of course, in the corner, you're going to have to, pedal the car a little bit. Everybody knows that. But, down a straight line, even if it was a little bit black, you could pretty much get all over it and not light the tires up and pass race cars.
And we this past weekend at the Bama Bash, Ronnie Johnson, he's the 525. He's the flagship guy. He's got 50 races, main events on the motor he's got. Never done anything to it. And he ran up front with the likes of McCready and Cook. So I like the idea of an economical supermotor.
I'm telling you right now, what it is that nobody wants to work anymore. That's just all there is to it.
Well,
so what is your point? What are you getting at when you're asking about the crate deal?
That I hear people all the time, and this is what I hear. What do we got to do to get more cars to the racetrack? What do we got to do to get more cars out here? Because we only have 15 late models showing up at this race. And then I go back and I look and I see all these cars that are spread around at either nearby places or following a series. And there's 5 or 6 different classes of crates. All right, you've got the Steele Block Mafia, you've got Fast Track Neesmith, and you got the Super Series, and all of them have different rules, and they got different rules for a specific reason because they want to keep those cars in that series. We're spreading out. You guys are spending money traveling around, following these crate series, following these crate races, and you're spreading out the talent pool, the amount of cars. We all have the same cars. We're running the same rear ends. We're running the same shocks, and there's some subtle different body rules. And a lot of times we're all running the same tires. So what's dividing us up is engines. And then you got guys that think, oh, well, I got this crate motor. I can't go over here and race with these open guys because they're going to kill me on horsepower. And I just don't believe that that's true.
Well, let me ask you, where have you seen a 604 win an open super late model race?
I've seen a 604 motor win an open super late model race at Moeller Raceway Park.
At Moeller over in Ohio.
Do you know who Eddie Carrier Jr. is?
Yes, I do. I know Eddie very well.
Eddie Carrier Jr. not beat a guy running a 604 crate engine.
At Moeller.
So that's
at Moeller on an almost tacky hammer down track. The guy's name is Freddie Carpenter.
So see, that's where the difference is as far as in my area and your area, because in my area you've got crate cars, you've got a limited maybe the limited late models have about faded out here, and you have a super late model. The super late models don't have a weekly track to race at in the Carolinas. You've got crate or pretty much nothing. So we don't mix a whole lot here. I know down in Florida, East Bay, places like that, they mix them. Places up north, I've been up there and raced, but it's just not here.
You're not going to go to Eldora and win with a 604. I get that. I totally agree with that, and that's a different level. I just think there's other ways to limit it. And I think we're spreading ourselves too thin. And when it comes down to it, it's us doing it to ourselves. You see what I'm saying?
Well, hey guys.
In a sense, I see what you're saying. But also, when you have a promoter saying, what can I do to get more cars to my track? And all the racers say, make it more affordable. And what's more affordable than a $6,000 engine versus a $30,000 engine?
Make everybody run steel blocks.
There's races around here that run limited late models, and that's what steel block, spec, the whole spec head deal, that was a joke. It turned into titanium valves and what?
Yeah, but see, titanium valves isn't going to win you a race. That's not going to make a 10th place car a first place car. You should know that.
I couldn't agree with you more. But you take a team that is winning races with titanium valves. They've got a steel block, $25,000-$30,000 engine steel from a well-known shop, and second place man, hell, he can't win. So okay, the only thing we don't have that they've got is titanium valves. So exactly. What are they going to do? they're going to spend that extra money, you know. So you end up with a limited late model steel block costing the same thing as
right. But this is what I'm saying: titanium valves are not going to win you races. That's going to cost you a bunch of money. But
I agree.
Right.
Well, all right, guys, I'm going to step in here. So, what I gathered from that is somebody went to a race and a bunch of cheating broke out.
Yeah, I would personally put money down that any 604 that beat a super late model motor on damn near any racetrack on the country that wasn't made for go-karts or quarter midgets would probably get beat.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
I mean, I've personally raced a crate car against super lates multiple times on anything from a quarter mile to a half mile. And when lap times are 2 seconds different every lap of the race, and I'm getting pulled away by 10 car lengths down the straightaway, I'm sorry, but I don't have a shot in the dark. Even if all of them wreck, they're still going to beat me.
That's right.
I've experienced it. I've done it. I've tried it. It's not going to work. You're not going to run a 604 crate motor, the best in the business, from a guy like Hendren or someone like that knows what they're doing. You're not going to put that motor up against a brand new Roush Yates or even a motor from a good local shop and beat it 99 times out of 100. Yeah, I mean, you're going to get beat.
All right, guys. Chris Steele, I want to thank you for coming on, bud. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to bring on Jason Walls of Insane Racing Graphics. Mr. Steele, we'll probably going to check back in with you over the course of the season. You come back on the show with us?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've done the radio thing, been co-host, and I ain't even gonna say what I've been at other places, but but yeah, I'd love to be back and be more on a not so much a debate as what this felt like. You know, kind of like with Jason with the flag deal. You know, he twisted my arm, told me he was going to take my lunch money if I didn't become a member. And, you know.
Well, the thing I like to do here is a conversation. It helps progress, and all opinions are valid in an open forum, but we're not going to be like a internet forum. We're going to do real people and real voices. But I appreciate it, Chris, and I'll have you back on later in the season.
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, everybody, just sit tight. We'll be right back.
All right.
Welcome back into another edition of the Great Crate Debate. You with us, Brian? That's
what we need to change the name of the show to, man.
Well, I mean, I know it's a tough thing. I know everybody's got their rathers and what they want to do. Mr. Jason Walls, you with us?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jason Walls of Insane Racing Graphics. That's Germantown, North Carolina, right?
Yes, it is.
And you've stumbled into a beehive. We're talking. First, tell us a little bit about your graphics company. How long you've been doing it? What kind of services you offer, and then talk to us a little bit about your crate program.
Well, I've been doing this decals for probably about 6 years now. This is going to be my first year doing it full time. I worked a regular 40-hour-a-week job and was doing it on the side, but it's got so big. I just, it's time to step up and do something. So I've done that this time and do anything, wraps, vinyl. I mean, we pretty much can do anything graphic related. So that's pretty nice. Done picked up a lot of new business this year. I think it's going to be okay. So that's good. And then the crate deal, I'm like everybody else, doing what I can afford to do. Going to run some 604 crate stuff with Fast Track and a couple local tracks, and 311, my home track, just started a 602 only class, so we're probably going to put another car together and run it some. So just for the money, just really can't afford not to do it.
Now, and also on the line with us is Bud Watson and Mike Brown. You're with us too, aren't you? Mr. Brown. Okay, Mr. Brown might be right here. Is this Mike Brown?
This is him.
All right, Mr. Brown, welcome to the program In the Dirt. You're a crate driver, and you actually set on the pole down there at Scriven during the winter freeze.
I gotta interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Do you know in Cincinnati that there are more people that just absolutely dislike Mike Brown?
I don't live in Cincinnati. How would I know?
I'm telling you, there's probably thousands of people that just can't stand that guy.
Why? Why?
Because he's the owner of the Bengals, dude.
That's a different Mike Brown, I would say.
Yeah, I'm definitely a different Mike Brown.
He just said
he didn't know what to say. He thought I was just telling him nobody liked him.
All right, so here we are in the middle of the crate debate. I'll ask you first, Bud, since you were with us the longest. Is it going to replace? Could the 525 and then the other crate motors replace everything at the local dirt tracks, and Super's going to be like a league of its own?
Locally, in time, yes. I mean, down south, I lived down in the Charlotte area for the past 8 to 10 months or so, and you even heard Chris Steele there talking about it. I mean, it's gone down there on a weekly level. I mean, I never saw a weekly super late model race advertised while I was down there. And then here where I'm at, Ohio, Pennsylvania area, I mean, around Pittsburgh, I can count on one hand the number of tracks this year they're running supers on a full-time basis, and there's none that get more than 20. And 10 years ago at my home track, Raceway 7 up here, we used to get 40 supers a night. I mean, it's going to be gone on a local level, whether we want to see it or not, within the next 10 years or so, almost nationwide. But there will still be traveling regional series. There will still be special shows for them all over the place. There will still be the Outlaws and Lucas and everything else. But locally, it's just going to die out at some point. I mean, it's been coming. It's still coming. That's what's going to happen.
Jason Walls, would you rather be in the crate or a 525 than a street stock?
Oh yeah, I've been doing the crates for about 6 years now, and I really like them. I like them with fast track. We got universal rules. We can go anywhere we want pretty much and race within 2 hours of my house. There's about 10 tracks I can choose from every Friday and Saturday. It's affordable. I mean, we make a pretty decent money at it, so I love the crates. I mean, it makes it to where somebody that don't have a lot of money can't afford to race and run competitive, and you're not losing all your money.
Mike Brown, how long you been in the crates, and would you be in a sheet metal car, or would you still be in the lower classes?
I've been in crates this is my first year actually. I'm going on my second, and I've raced everything from 4 cylinders to Monte Carlos to actually legend cars on the asphalt. But as far as racing goes, I love crate racing just simply because of competitiveness, and nobody usually dominates this division. It's always a different winner, and I just love crate racing.
So I think, and here's what Brian was saying, that all these different divisions divides everything. What I think you're going to see, Brian, is I think that the cost, the affordability of the crates, whether it be the 600s or the 525 or whatever, is going to bring it all back together again, and you'll see the car counts again. But then we'll all lose this negativeness that comes along with the word crate. And I think
here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to make a prediction, and I'm going to use a couple of facts to back it up. And this is not a stab, and I hope nobody feels like I'm stabbing them. I'm not trying to beat anybody up. I'm just being the devil's advocate. But think about this from this standpoint, and we're going to talk about asphalt racing. This is going to take a second. Let's say 15 years ago, when you went to an asphalt race and you seen a late model car, what you seen was the biggest motor, tires, some limited body rules. I mean, there were sharp-looking cars. They were fast and they were loud. Okay? Then when everybody started crying because they started getting beat by horsepower, which I don't think they were getting beat by horsepower, they went to what is now, I'm going to say, the CRA series, or even ASA. They run, the 604 crate engine. That's the only engine they're allowed to run, with the exception of one of those Fords. And for a couple of years, they were big and they were thriving because everybody was switching from the open engines to the crates. And now, if you go to an asphalt track and try to find any kind of a late model, you're going to find very low car counts in late models. You're going to find a bunch of modifieds and a crap load of compact cars.
Well,
and this is what I see for the future of dirt racing. You're going to have the Lucas Oil Series, and I doubt that the World of Outlaws is going to force Lucas out with money. So it's going to be the Lucas Series with open engines, and you just may find 14 cars in a crate class at some dirt track somewhere on a Friday or Saturday night.
I mean, but you act like it's just the death of to have options is the death, and I think
you've sat up in the stands, Webb. You've been up there. Have you listened to a crate race and went to a Lucas race and felt the difference?
I understand it, but with the point being with the crate, and Bud said it, and Jason said it, and Mike said it, and even Chris said it earlier, is that
I think the problem lies within the promotion of the racetrack. I still believe that.
Well, I mean, but you got to look at the people who are building these cars. Not everybody, and you yourself have to build your own car.
I know. I've had to market my ass off.
True.
In order to go buy a house built car. Because
but would you,
the cars I was building just weren't cutting it, because it ends up being so much damn work to keep up with these guys. You can't do it all yourself nowadays. I get that.
Jason, let me ask you this question. If you had to choose between a crate motor, I have no clue what that is.
Huh. Somebody's calling.
Hello?
Hello.
Wow. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Who we got on the line?
All right, this is Chris. I'm Chris Steele. I'm still on the line.
Oh, you're still on the line, Chris?
Yeah, I'm still on the line. You told me to hold on?
I know what happened. Chris clicked over to answer a phone call and then forgot he was on the phone with us.
I did. I switched over and answered it.
Well, here's my question, Jason. I'm gonna ask you: Would you rather not race or have a crate motor?
No, have a crate motor, definitely. I mean,
all right, Mr. Brown, same question.
No, I'd rather have a crate motor.
Jason Walls, crate motor, racing.
Oh, crate.
So, Brian, that's what I'm saying. I think that I understand what you're saying is you want the horsepower, you want this, you want that, and everything else. But I think the bottom line is with what's happening is they're still racing. They're still racing.
I know, I get it, and I'm glad they are still racing. At least they're out there racing, and I get that, and that's a good thing to have them out there. I just think that it's a slow deterioration of the sport because it just seems like the people that I run across just don't have the drive. I mean, where are the guys that have that drive and aspire to really, really be something?
You need to get a crate car and go race with one of these four guys here. I bet they'll show you some drive.
Yeah, definitely. He needs to come north to South Carolina.
I moved to the South to, try to make something of myself in the racing world, and I'm still trying. And I'm building race cars for a living right now. I've got the drive and the motivation to be a race car driver or be whatever I need to be in the racing industry. And I know a lot of other people that way who put in a lot of work and a lot of effort in racing.
I bet you can count on one hand the guys that have that kind of desire. I honestly, guys that you seriously know, I bet you can count on one hand the guys that really have the drive to do it.
Not around here. We have 5 or 6 crate teams that are full-time crate racers. That is just like that's their living.
They are full-time. If you've got 5 or 6 full-time crate race teams over there, they've got some kind of business that's backing them up with money to keep them going.
Well, of course.
Tell me how a super late model team don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the old days, it was drugs
I'll
that
tell
kept
you a
everything
late model
going.
team that don't. I don't.
What?
I don't.
Well, all right, guys. I want
I just wish I could understand your beef with the crate racing. I mean, crate racing is no different than my son racing go-karts and him having a race in a class that runs a restrictor plate to where he's learning.
It's not a beef. It's not a beef at all. What it is that I have an opinion that I think that it takes away from the fans' enjoyment at the racetrack. I think there's an element there that's missing that makes people want to come to a racetrack. That's
let me ask you this.
And it's just my opinion. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock anybody. I just think that there's an element missing there that's critical to the survival of short track racing, and it's not there with crate racing.
Well, would you ask many fans, would they rather not have a racetrack to go to, or would they rather be able to go and watch crate racing instead of not go?
They would rather go and watch crate racing for a short period of time.
But there was no difference.
You'll have a slow death, and there is a difference. And here's the difference: is that you don't have that feeling. There's not that sense of power there in the air. The atmosphere is different. That's what people go to the racetrack for.
So people I know that go to the racetrack. Yeah, people I know that go to the racetrack go to watch three-wide racing and see a good finish and not watch a train go around the racetrack. I mean, I don't know of anybody who's ever told me, man, I don't like the crates because of the way they sound. I've never once heard that in all the years that I've run them. My dad, I've never heard one person come up to me and be like, man, I'd like a crate car if they sounded cool. I've never once heard that.
Well, all right, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming on. I'd like to thank Jason for bringing everybody here. Chris Steele, thanks for coming on with us. Mr. Bud Watson and Jason Walls and Mike Brown. You guys, thank you for taking part in the conversation. And like I said, it's not about trying to start any crap with anybody, but I think that if the crates, the 525s, that's the future of our local racing, and I think it's a good thing. Myself personally, I think it's a good thing. I'm gonna give. Go ahead.
I agree with. I was just gonna say I agree with you on that. I mean, it's just a guy that can afford to race gets to race a crate versus either a hobby stock, street stock, or not getting a race. I mean, racing in general, I think it's great. I don't think anybody should have a beef with one division or another. Kicking a man because he can't afford to race a super and he gets to race a crate.
All right, Chris, I want you to before I let you go, I want you to thank your sponsors and anybody inside your program.
I mean, Jason at Flag to Flag, I mean, he's not really a sponsor, but he's a great guy. He's introducing us, the racer, when I say us, he's introducing the racer to companies and companies to racers. I think what Jason's doing is a great thing, and a new company that's come on board with us this year is ISPC, Innovative Safety Product. Joe Gibbs Racing Oil, K&N air filters, oil filters. Just, a multitude of guys. I mean, my guys that help him in the car, I can't do it without them because, my heart right now is with my son and his go-kart racing. So there's nights that they're at the shop working on the race car, and I'm down at the house working on go-karts.
All right.
And my wife and kids, my little girl sitting here. I'm in my truck right now talking to you. My little 4-year-old girl sitting in my lap with a pair of sunglasses on, acting like she's driving.
Get her ready for the next go-kart.
Oh, she's already wanting one. So,
Well, I certainly appreciate coming on, Mr. Steele. We're going to have you back on later in the season and talk about what's going on with your guys' program.
Oh yeah, and I thank you. And if you do right, I'll let you be the co-host one week.
I hear you. All right, Mr. Bud Watson. Okay, I'm gonna give Bud Watson a.
Yeah, and I do thank you for letting us be on. And Bud's a good kid. Him and his dad. And as far as we are apart, I know those guys and a whole lot more of them up there. They're good people.
Well, hey, I got the same to say about you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, little man.
I'll see you sometime this year, buddy.
All right. Bud, you have the floor. I want you to thank some of your sponsors and tell us where we can see you race at.
Well, I guess I'll start off. You probably see me running anywhere around Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, West Virginia, just about any of the big special shows up this way. We travel around a lot with this deal, and we never really know where we'll be at. But for people that help me, I got to thank Bunnell's Collision and Rod Shop. They're a local company up here, and they do a lot for us. Without them, I wouldn't have a lot of what I have racing-wise, so I'm glad to have them on board. And thank Tregler Racing Engines. He built us a good product and something reliable every week. And, mostly here, Jason Atkins from Flag to Flag, of course. He's the one that gets us on here and puts this deal together. And, I lived in Charlotte, like I said earlier, for about 8 months, and I met Jason, and, through the process of him putting the website together and getting Flag to Flag together, he and I burnt the midnight oil quite a few times talking different stuff, and, just trying to give him my input from a driver's aspect on it. And, in the process, I did not only develop a partnership with a good company and meet some new sponsors and stuff out of him and his deal, but I also, got a good friend in him out of it, and I got to thank him. He's helped me a lot. And last but not least, too, I almost forgot Andrew Wiley with Wiley Race Cars. I work with him, and he's done a lot for me and helped me out, too, with my racing program. So, and I know there's a lot more people I'm forgetting, but that's all I got for right now.
Well, Bud, I appreciate you coming on with us and taking part in that impromptu debate. I apologize for that. Well, I don't really apologize. It's just I think we have to talk about it because that's going to be the future of what we're going to be looking at. If you're not going to be in the big money cars and Lucas and World Outlaws, we're going to be we're going to be watching the crate cars go around. So it's a big part of the future of our sport. So I appreciate you, Bud, coming on.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Jason Walls with Insane Racing Graphics. Your floor is yours. Talk about the business, and thanks to your sponsors.
Like I said, just pretty much self-sponsored with Insane Racing Graphics, and then I got Morris Brothers Landscaping, RBR's Race Cars and Parts, and Warrior Race Cars. So they really helped me out pretty good. So couldn't do any of it without all them.
Well, all right. Where's your guys' next event going to be before we let you get off here?
We're probably going with the decal business. Decal season is prime time right now, and we've got to put decals in front of the race car. So we're probably going to try to start March 31st at 311 season opener, and then we're just going to pick and choose where we think we can make the most money. We're just going to pick and choose through the year, run some fast track stuff and some local stuff, and see what happens from there.
All right, give me a website for your Insane Racing Graphics.
Okay, everything's on Facebook. Just Jason Insane Graphics Walls on Facebook. It's a whole lot cheaper that way.
That's right. I'm a big advocate for having Facebook as your website page.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Mr. Walls, I appreciate you coming on. We'll check back within you later in the season. Certainly, Jason will have you back on. And if you have anything to announce, get hold of Jason. He'll get hold of me.
No, I will. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Brown, the floor is yours. Thank your sponsors and tell us where we can see you race at.
Yes, sir. I'd like to start with can't miss the Skylar Troll Memorial this weekend, March 9th and 10th at Carolina Speedway in Gastonia, North Carolina. I've been going to watch practice for the past couple weeks.
Oh, no. Just lost him. Just lost Brown. If Brown's listening, have him call back. Brian, you with us? Brian Gray. All right, caller, I welcome you to the program after I I don't know what happened to Mike Brown. His phone line just dropped. Who we got on the line now?
This is Jerry Gibson.
Mr. Jay Gibson. Where you calling from, Jay?
Creighton, Kentucky.
All right, you have a question?
No, I was supposed to be on the show. I guess I did it wrong.
No, you did it fine. You did it fine. You're one of the compact champions with the DRC.
Yes, sir.
And let's see here.
I don't know what happened there, Webb. This is Michael again.
Hey, Mike. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't know. You just disappeared on me. Go ahead.
All right. But yeah, like I was saying, the Skylar Troll Memorial, it's I'll be the defending champion there in the crates, and it was probably one of the best races all year I went to, and you know the guys really take care of you there, and got a great purse. Friday the gates open at 8, at 4, and the racing starts at 8, and Saturday the racing starts at 7. They'll have Carolina Clash super late models on hand, NDRA open wheels, and the crates also. But I'd like to thank Jason at Flag to Flag. You know, he's really helped me out a lot, me being a very young racer, you know, helping me understand, you know, how to best market myself and to come to these sponsors. And, you know, he's helped introduce me to some, and, you know, he's helped me out a bunch, and he still is. And like Chris and those guys was saying, you know, he's just become a great friend. And, you know, in racing, it's always a great thing to have plenty of people that believe in you and behind you.
That's right. That's right. Jason's he's one of the good ones in the sport. He's going to do everything right by you. If he tells you he's going to do it, he's going to do it.
And I'd like to thank my sponsors too. Sonny Elliott Motorsports. He's got a big role in my racing and taking care of me. Hendren Racing Engines, you know, for giving me one of the best motors I think there's out there. FK Rod Ends, Fragola Performance Systems, Big A's Custom Graphics, Daryl's Automotive and Body, Rogers Refrigeration, Mike's Transmission Service, which is my father, Video Zone, Williams Finance, Langley's Collision Center, Cagle's Racing Automotive, Billy Cagle in Hopkins, South Carolina. That he's in charge for making that car go around the racetrack, and he sure does do a great job, you know, hooking my race car up week in and week out, and really taking care of me that way, and coaching me as a driver also. I'd like to thank Rocket Racing Chassis too. You know, Mark Richards and them guys, they're great when it comes to helping you out on the car. If you ever have any problems, you know, you can always pick up the phone and give them a ring. Richardson Racing Products for giving me the best seat you could possibly have, really comfortable, well-fitted seat. CNC Tool and Machine, LJ Designs, which is my shirt company, and they will be for sale Friday and Saturday at Carolina Speedway. Make sure you stop by and get you one. P&R Photos, and make sure you check out my website also, www.michaelbrownracing.com. And Webb, I'd just like to thank you for having me on here.
No problem, dude. We, like I said, conversation, it's helped spark progress, or maybe understanding different views, and we're not hiding behind screen names, you know, like they do on some forums everybody goes to.
And one other thing is, I know I had a long list of sponsors, but I just really can't thank them enough, and I'm really, really, really fortunate to have that many. I noticed that not very many of the other drivers had a list that long, so, you know, the Lord has blessed me, and he's always going to be number one on my list. But, you know, I'm very, very, very fortunate. Can't say it enough.
Well, all right, Mike. Good luck coming up at the Skylar race, and you're welcome back anytime, man.
All right, yes, sir. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Well, we're going to take a short break. We've got to come back. We're going to talk to Matt Murrell with the DRC, Jerry Gibson, Kyle Purdy. Looks like the Ohio gang is on the telephone. Brian Gray, you with us?
Yeah, I'm back. I had to go handle some business here. I had a guy come in here to get a cam test.
Okay, well, when we come back, we're going to come back and we're going to talk
He's
some...
one of the guys that can't afford to race.
Oh, just like war in the old neighborhood. We'll be right back, guys, right back. Welcome back to In the Dirt. I know the crate debate went too long. We're not ending the show. We got all the way up until the next top of the hour. So you all in the chat room, in the chat room, just simmer down a little bit. Just simmer down.
No, I want to hear some. I want to see a whole bunch of people start cussing each other out. Why ain't they doing that?
They're pretty mundane. Well, since we're going to start this, we're going to start the last segment of the program now, and we'll start with he won't ever come on the show, but he's got theme music. And now, deep from within the DRC bunker in Southern Ohio, it's Jody. It's Matt Murrell.
Murrell.
What's up, Word?
Chad Stapleton's new search.
Not even
Why
close.
not? What happened? Did you get fired?
No, I didn't get fired. Yeah, he's got all the help he needs, and I'll help him when he needs it. But I'm gonna help these local guys and do more exciting DRC stuff. That's what I'm all about, buddy.
Help me.
I'll help you.
All right, we got an engine to put in tomorrow.
All right.
We gotta be ready for the Spring 50, and I have no motor, no body.
No motor, no body. All right.
Well,
we'll get it together.
I just don't have a body ready. I don't have a motor in the car.
Buddy, we can get a body together in less than a day. You know that.
Yeah. We'll be ready.
All right. We'll be ready.
I'm thinking we just throw whatever on it we think we can throw on it and go down there and try to beat Don O'Neill.
I like it.
Before we get to Mr. Gibson and Mr. Purdy, Matt, you are on the program this evening to offer a special announcement from the DRC.
Absolutely. We've been teasing it since last night. It's been an exciting 24 hours, let me tell you. It all happened real fast, and we jumped on it, and we got it done.
Wait a second.
The baseline deal's done.
Can I interrupt a second?
Go ahead.
Did you find Wayne Chin?
Oh, yeah, we found him a long time ago.
Okay, I didn't know
that. Did you see the video?
Dude,
I saw the hunt.
They found Chin at a mall in Eastgate.
I saw the hunt. I didn't watch the end of it because I didn't think you found. Okay, never mind. I thought I was going.
Now they're looking for his What do you call that? His
co-inhabitants. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. Gotta watch the end of the video, Webb. Gotta watch the end of the video. I won't ruin the end for you, but
big DRC announcement.
The big DRC announcement's been exciting 24 hours. I mean, things opened up last night. I got a call about 6, 7 o'clock at night and said, we got to act now. We can move the race. We're going to move it. Let's do it. We had a meeting, and we were up till 1:30 last night hammering out details. And the DRC King of Compacts this year will be moved to Murrell Raceway Park on August 24th.
I told you. I win, baby. I win.
So
I was right.
So Miss Kim is signed on to run the King of Compacts.
Yes, last night we had a meeting with her, and we hammered it out. We got a date. It's going to be August 24th, which is also, we picked it because it's also one of their fan appreciation nights also. So we're going to all roll that all into one.
Dude, I'm sorry for ruining it then because
it's all right.
I did ruin it, didn't I?
You did. That's why I got on there and said, shut up, Brad.
I took a guess because I thought that I thought that it really was going to go somewhere else. So I was just picking it. I'll forget it, dude. I'm sorry. I ruined it.
It's all right. It happens. No, it's where we wanted it to be. It's where it needs to be. That Muller's, and we hope it stays there for as long as it can. We're excited about it. We love that place. We love everybody. We love the crowd. It's just a perfect area where we can get the guys from Florence to come over, guys from Brush Creek, guys from West Virginia, everywhere. We can get them all there. We're trying to make this thing huge. It's the biggest compact race in history. This is going to be the Grassroots 500. Our great American race, buddy.
We're going to have to. I'll tell you what. I'm going to lay this out. I will find us a sponsor who will put more money in the pot for it. Will that make up for the? Will that make up?
Absolutely.
For it?
Absolutely. We're actually looking for the sponsors now. We need lap sponsors. We're going to run 20-lap feature again this year. It's going to be actually 20 laps and not 10 laps like last year.
You ought to make it 30.
Well,
make it 30.
We discussed making it longer, but 20. We think 20 is a good number. We think some race fans might get a little tired of it after 20. We're not sure. We don't want to overstep our bounds. So 20 is a good round number. As of right now, the baseline to win, and it's gonna go up. I mean, this is just the baseline minimum that Murrell Raceway Park's thrown into it. They're putting up $200 to win, and we're working on sponsorship to jack that on up like last year.
I'll tell you what, we'll do this. Since I blew it out of the water, I'll come out of my own pocket, and I'll put another $100 on it.
All right.
That's going to cost me a tire, but since I ruined the whole surprise thing, that's what I'll do. I'll add personally $100.
All right, that sounds good.
All right, Webb. How much are you going to throw in?
I will throw in radio coverage.
Is in the dirt going to buy a lap? Are you going to buy a lap, Webb, in the dirt?
Did you say lap dance?
No.
Buy a lap dance.
That's after the race, buddy. After the race.
Well, we could. I'm not going to commit to anything online, but we'll see what we can come up with.
All right, yeah. We did raise the price of the last sponsorship to 20.
Hold on. Here's the deal. I got to say this before you even do it. I'll add $100, but you know how I do it. I'm not going to add it to the last place.
Okay.
I'm going to add $100 to the guy that is leading the race on lap 14.
14?
Lap 14.
Okay.
Not halfway, lap 14.
All right.
The race at lap 14, you get a $100 bill.
Oh, there you go. $100 bill for leading lap 14. One lap is gone.
Well, Brian, speaking of the compacts, we have a couple of the championship compact drivers online with us. Mr. Jerry Gibson, and Mr. Kyle Purdy. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Pretty good. How are you?
Well,
speaking of Webb, I have to add another rule. Being that the car is legal at the end of the race.
Ooh. That was a low blow, Brad.
A little low.
Now, is this big...
Carry on.
This King of the Compact, Jerry or Kyle, is this an event you guys will be going to?
I will be there for sure.
And I don't know who I is. Who said that?
Jerry Gibson.
Okay.
Jerry Gibson will be there for sure.
And Kyle?
I recently got rid of my compact, but I'll see what I can throw together.
And
what'd you move to, Kyle Purdy?
I moved enough, and I just got rid of the compact, and we'll see what we can come up with for this year.
So give us a little now, Matt. Here, for those that don't know, last year the race was supposed to be 20 laps. It didn't go 20 laps for whatever reason. It just didn't go for 20 laps. Mr. Gibson was the winner at the end of the night. Kyle Purdy was a previous champion, Webb. So Kyle's won that race before. So
No.
No?
No.
No, that's right. You didn't win it. Who was the first winner?
Rex Smith.
Rex Smith. I think Kyle Purdy wins so many daggone races out there. It was ridiculous. Now come on, Matt, fill us in. You're leaving me hanging here.Id I just beat people up or something?
What do you want me to fill you in on, bud? I mean,
tell everybody the story. Come on, let's go. Let's recap.
The story? Do you really want to? Okay,
I want to recap last year's event because this year coming up. This is going to be the battle of the comebacks too.
This is going to be bigger than any year we've ever had before. Honestly, we've got a lot of things in the works, and we're going to blow out any other year we've ever had completely out of the water. We got all kinds of cool things coming up. But I will say this, the crown's still going to be there, and the bottle of Crown will still be there. And, Jerry, if you win again, your dad still gets to drink it, by the way.
Did you guys have a bad experience with the King of Compacts last year?
Absolutely. You're asking the wrong person because I was really, really, really mad that night. But basically what happened was it was supposed to be a 20-lap feature. We got 20 lap sponsors and it only went 10 laps.
Now, this was due to track promotion. This had nothing to do with the DRC. This had nothing to do with the guys that were racing. This was strictly because of promotion reasons.
So when did they tell you it was only going to be 10 laps? Like on the ninth
after they
lap?
threw the checker flag. After they threw the checker flag on lap 10.
So
we were all like, that wasn't quite 20.
Imagine this, Webb. You go to a race. You go to a track to see a race, and they say it's going to be a 20-lap feature and whatever. And instead of running 20 laps, they shortcut it. They cut it in half. Well, I mean, as a fan, what does that do to you?
The fan probably isn't privy to, like, they'll cut races on occasion for whatever reason. I mean, time limits or.
What about as a sponsor? If you're the guy that paid so much money for the guy leading on lap 20.
I tell you what, if I had guaranteed any money tonight and then they cut my lap, ooh.
Yeah. So that was the sentiment from a lot of people that was out there.
Well, I think you guys with Miss Kim, I think you guys will do better. She seems like they started that track from not being a track, so maybe you guys have found a home there.
I think we have. It's where we wanted it. It's where it needed to be. I mean, that's our track. That's where we go pretty much week in and week out, and we're always treated just great. There's always great racing there, and it doesn't need to be anywhere but there, honestly.
So we're excited to have it back there. In Southwest Ohio, that's what I call it. I think that's what she should put on the the little bumper stickers. That should be their new track motto.
All right, Jerry Gibson, we're fixing to shut the show down. Tell us a little bit more about your racing endeavors, and do you aspire past the compact?
Well, I started out in the pure stock. I ran a Malibu at Florence Speedway. I ran 3 times, and then the year ended and we traded it for a mod, and then my dad ended up getting a motorcycle for the mod because the mod wasn't going to work out for us. So then I fell back into getting another pure stock, but we couldn't get the money together to put it together. So I traded the pure stock for the car I have now, and then just started racing it. Raced about 6 times last year, and of course won the King of the Compacts race. And then this year we're planning on running at Murrell and Florence Speedway every week that they run. Trying to win 2 championships this year. We also have we have about 5 or 6 cars for Gibson Motorsports this year. We're trying to look for sponsors for all of them. Hopefully we have a good year.
Well, certainly wish you all the best in the 2012 season. Mr. Kyle Purdy, are you going to find you a car? Are you going to be back racing this year, or are you going to sit out 2012?
Oh, I don't believe I'll be sitting out. I got my eye on something, so we'll see what happens when the opening night comes.
Dude, you can't sit in the background. They got packs at Florence now. They got them at Moeller.
I plan on being out there. We'll just have to see what I come with.
Got any, you going to give us a hint?
It's red right now.
Yeah, only red.
Well, all right, guys. This is we're going to go ahead and shut her down for this evening as we're approaching the bottom of the hour. The big news is... Go ahead.
Moving to Moeller Raceway Park. But also, one thing I want to mention is Brush Creek did work with us again. And the night after the King of Compacts at Brush Creek, anybody that competes in the King of Compacts get a free pit pass to get into Brush Creek the next night. And we're not completely done with Brush Creek. We're going to do another race with them. But those details are still being worked out. It's not going to be a compact race, but it is going to be a race. And we'll announce those when all the details gets hammered out on that also.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. I wasn't trying to throw anybody under the bus by any means. I mean, I just knew that there was...
I had to throw that in there.
I didn't think you were either.
And for all those in the know, so that you don't see it typed on a page or anything, I'm telling you, word of my mouth, I am not going back to the creek. Not. Until Tom or Stephen Parton give me a handwritten apology letter. I don't want a typed one. I want it to be written in your own handwriting and telling me how sorry they are for insulting me and every other driver out there. That's it. Until that happens, I'm not going back. And it's not going to happen, so I'm not going back. Mark my words. My name's not Jason Jameson.
And there it is. March 5th, 2012. I will not
be at Florence Speedway at the Spring 50, by the way.
I will not return. Is that a guarantee, Mr. Gray?
Dude, I'd almost lay money on it. I almost would lay money on it, but he may not go now that I've called him out. They said they weren't going back until whatever was resolved. It's not going to get resolved, but I guarantee he's going to go back. He can't resist. It's too close.
Well, I'd like to think
that's like saying Jody will never go back to Florence.
Well, if everybody who ever said they weren't going back to a racetrack never did go back to a racetrack, there'd be even less people in the stands.
Yeah. Well, I told you I'm not going back until I get my apology, and it ain't going to be a verbal one. It's got to be handwritten. And and if I ever get it, I'll take a picture of it and I'll Facebook it.
Any particular ink you would like to use for them to use?
It has to be in black or blue because that's the only legal ink that you can use in a legal document.
Okay. Big.
For it to be real,
Yeah. Well, I'd like to thank all my guests this evening. Appreciate Jason Atkins getting his stable of clients together. Mr. Chris Steele out of York, South Carolina. Bud Watson, open wheel pilot from Ohio. Jason Walls with Insane Racing Graphics. You can look him up on Facebook. He's out of Germantown, North Carolina. Young driver named Mike Brown. I'd like to thank Mr. Matt Murrell for coming on and unveiling the location of the King of Compacts, which is Moeller Speedway. Kim Moeller is going to be putting on that event.
The baddest bull ring in Southwest Ohio, Webb.
Is there another one?
Out there. That's it. Moeller Raceway Park that's where it's at this summer, dude. I mean, where else could you go and see me and Chad Stapleton on a Friday night?
Not Brush Creek.
Not at Brush Creek. You ain't going to see anybody at Brush Creek. Brush Creek's going to pay out a whole $800 for you to win in a super late model race.
I like Brush Creek. It's a nice racetrack. I don't know what they've done to you or what you've done to them. I'm not going down a racetrack. I like if a racetrack is open, then I like it. I don't like it when they close.
I like it when they get new owners.
All right, Brian, I appreciate you like I do each and every week. Thank you very much for being my co-host, and we'll talk at you the next week or so.